Hello, my name is Evelyn Pipkin, and I'm going to talk to you today about positive behavior interventions and supports. When a child doesn't know how to do certain tasks, as educators, what is our response? Well, if they need to learn how to read, we teach them how to read. And how to write, we teach them how to write. How to swim, and we teach them how to ride a bicycle. Or any other thing that they need to know. So what do we do when a child doesn't know how to behave? Do we teach them how to behave? In the past, practice has been punishment for negative behaviors. But PBIS teaches students behavioral expectations and rewards students for following them. That means we teach them how to do the right thing instead of punishing them for doing the wrong thing. What is positive behavior interventions? Positive behavior interventions teaches students behavioral expectations and reward students for following them. School-wide PBIS is a systems approach for establishing the social culture and individualized behavior supports needed for schools to achieve both social and academic success for all students. It's an approach designed to monitor and teach students more acceptable ways to behave through positive reinforcement. It also teaches the children how to develop and maintain positive social relationships. An interactive approach that includes opportunities to correct and improve outcomes on behavior. It's a continual process. The practices of strategies, data use to analyze progress and changes and supports needed to implement the program. PBIS creates safe and predictable environments. Instead of waiting for misbehavior, school-wide PBIS creates safe and predictable environments. The underlying theme is teaching behavioral expectations in the same way as any core curriculum subjects. Typically, a team of approximately 10 representative members of the school will attend a 2 or 3 day training provided by skilled trainers. This team will be comprised of administrators and regular and special education teachers. Behavioral expectations. The school will focus on 3 to 5 behavioral expectations that are positively stated and easy to remember. In other words, rather than telling the students what not to do, the school will focus on preferred behaviors. Here are some sample behaviors from other schools. Respect yourself, respect others, and respect property. Be safe, be responsible, be respectful. Respect relationships and respect responsibilities. The benefits of PBIS for students is the reduction of problem behaviors, office discipline referrals, there's a reduction in suspensions and expulsions, and there's an improvement in effectiveness for intensive intervention. It increases the student engagement and improves academic performance and family involvement. The students perceive school as safer and more supportive environment. Students will want to come to school more often. The benefits for faculty and staff: improve consistency across faculty. There's better collaboration and support of individuals when everyone feels like they're part of a team. Their focus is towards a certain goal, and they work together and support each other. Things are more consistent. When teachers are more organized with their classroom rules and routines and strategies for preventing and preempting problem behavior, the classes run smoother, so there's less frustration for teachers. When there's less stress, then faculties are less apt to be absent and want to come back the next year. It increases ratings of faculty effectiveness as well. And staff perceive themselves as more effective due to coherent planning, improved student behavior, and effective strategies. School-wide PBIS is a proactive, preventive approach to encourage positive behavior and anticipates misbehavior and pre-corrects it. The 4 elements builds from a focus on student outcomes, academic achievement, social competency, and safety. Practices are the behaviors of adults that affect how students perform. These are the daily classroom and ongoing discipline practices of the school. Being organized. Systems are the organizational decisions and structures that support effective staff behavior. A major strength of school-wide PBIS is the emphasis on practices delivered with systems need to support the practices. The use of data for decision-making is the single most important system within school-wide PBIS. This element is used both to ensure the practices are tailored to each individual student. Steps to developing school-wide positive behavior interventions and support. The basic principle of implementing PBIS is to develop a core steps in doing implementing or developing a core team. Those are the 10 team members that go and get trained and bring it back to the school. Tier fidelity inventory, establish systems, collect data. Professional development, positive behavior recognition, and continual data revision. Develop core team with a facilitator. Put together a committee to lay the foundations for the PBIS initiative in the school. So that committee is the one who goes and gets trained. The committee is made up of the facilitator, administration, teachers, school counselor, PBIS coach, parents, students. A PBIS facilitator is a person trained in PBIS and program development. The facilitator can train staff on how to implement the program in the school. The basic principle of implementing PBIS is teaching behavioral expectations in the same way as any other core curriculum subject. Conduct a tier fidelity inventory. A tier fidelity inventory is an assessment tool used to identify areas of need and accumulate data of progress over time. The facilitator leads the initial assessment to help identify areas of strength and weakness in each tier. It is recommended that new leaders focus on Tier 1 or school-wide interventions. So you should establish systems and collect data. Establishing systems to recognize students who are following school rules, values, and norms. To have a successful project, it's important to communicate how the program functions and develop a culture that communicates using the same language. We use data to guide instruction and intervention by assessing how well core features of practice or system are being implemented. We evaluate progress toward desired goals, guiding a problem-solving process if adequate fidelity or outcomes are not observed. Update on action plan for improvement and considering local norms and values in selecting and measuring strategies and ensure selected strategies support all individuals. A school discipline system needs to be implemented by school staff. Staff should be trained on how to use the new program in order to achieve success. The staff needs to understand how to implement the new system, and they need to know how to address the behaviors that are not appropriate and how to implement rewards and consequences. Continual data revision through formal observations by teachers and administrators. Students self-evaluate progress, surveys, and checklists. Discuss progress with grade level teams, and frequency counts should show decrease in total misbehaviors by students. And if not, then things need to be reevaluated and implementation changed. Continual data collection will help recognize deficiency in program implementation and record strengths in the system, providing positive feedback to encourage users of the program. Classroom implementation of PBIS. Preventative planning in the classroom. Establish realistic and detailed procedures, develop easy to understand follow rules, model desirable behaviors and provide for students' needs, maintain positive relationships with students and effective teaching techniques. Examples of realistic procedures are planning ahead, organizing your classroom, plan ahead for every step students take in the classroom, how they line up and how they go to the restroom, etc. And when the continual data collection, whenever you realize that it might be necessary to change your program or your implementation, you can do that. Database decision-making. Database decision-making process to support implementation of classroom practices and systems. So whenever you're in a place where you need to reevaluate or collect data on what things are going on in your classroom, you can ask yourself, okay, what are our core enhanced features of practices and systems implemented with fidelity? Are things actually working out? So if you say yes, then all individuals are achieving their desired outcomes. And you say yes, then continue to monitor and ask what is needed to sustain and improve implementation efficiency. So that's when it's 100% and everything's going just great. But if your answer is no, then you ask yourself, okay, so what's the nature of the problem? Who, what, and why? So you review the data-based decision-making flowcharts for practices and systems. And then you go in and you ask yourself, what action plan will enhance implementation? Intensify what you give more of what I'm doing, or modify what I'm doing, or select or add features. How will it be? How can I do things better? Summary. PBIS is a system that is used to help students learn to behave in a manner that will allow them to get the most out of their time at school. The program teaches educators to plan ahead, learn new techniques to organize their classroom, and teach students what behavior expectations are in different areas of the school. It teaches students to respect themselves and others, as well as how to relate to others. PBIS is structured to be a group effort, starting from the school board to the youngest student and their parents.